Hello world! WayofTime here bringing to you another episode of EEPower. Now this might be a weird metric that might be a little too much information, but I think I found the perfect metric to determine when my recording should be finished. By the time that my butt starts to get real sweaty, I think it's about time that I should, step back from the microphone, check the time, then I might be done then. So, what happened? I jarred up this node and was happy enough to get it to normal and threw it in here and got 7 tera centiV per second, or per tick rather, that might be what it's more like. Also did that mining operation. Basically, I'll show you what I did over here because might as well. Oh, overshot it quite a few times. Anyway, so I upgraded my Ritual Diviner, and I made it using 2 Demonic Slates, which are the Tier 4 slates, and 2 Elemental Inscription Tool Dusks. Got a few ores in here left, but I'm not going to worry about them. And what I did was I did a bunch of mining, and if we look over here, I got a bunch of redstone, bunch of iron ore, got some steel, which I'm actually going to need soon, and a bunch of other miscellaneous stuff. We still have a lot of osmium, which I think we're going to want to use a bit. Actually, I think I do have some osmium over here. But anyways, I'm now upgraded. Yes, we do. I now upgraded to the Bevo Tech Pack version 1.8. No, 10.8. So that's all up and running. And what I did, well, I'm going to let this run. It's going to take a bit, but anyways, I was going to say something mystical, magical, and altogether awesome. However, I guess I lost my trail of thought. So what was I doing? Yes, I needed to get a bit of iron. So I think all the iron ingots are over in the other base. Thankfully, I do have a bit of LP left over. So what I think we're going to do today is attempt to finish up, or rather make our our 4X ore processing. There's going to be a lot of stuff that we're going to need to do, so it's probably going to take 2 episodes to get all sorted. I'm hoping it doesn't take that long. However, I haven't done this recently, so there are a few things that I probably am going to have to mess around with to make sure that I do it in a calm, orderly fashion. Calm and orderly. Have you even watched me play this? Oh my goodness. Okay, so we're going to make a bit more of that conductive alloy. And then we will make a few more energy conduits because, frankly, we are running low on that. And I think I'm actually all out of conductive binder, which is not exactly happy fun time. So I'll make a bit of conductive binder, make some more conduits, then we can look at all the machines that we are going to need to make for our 4X ore processing. This is going to be long and difficult, but I shall be prepared. Okay, so there's going to be a lot of crafting involved, at least so we can get the initial machines. Now, what we're basically going to want to do is create a bunch of brine, and then process that brine as well as a bunch of other things in such a way that we'll be able to get our final product. Now, unfortunately, well, we're going to need to basically move all of our energy production over, since it's going to take a lot of energy to actually get this 4X ore processing up and running in any sort of state. So let's check the iron shards again. If we check here, it requires a chemical injection chamber, which is going to require some diamonds. Thankfully, I did find a few diamonds. We're probably going to need to use all of these. I think I'll use 2 of them, and you'll see why in a second. The chemical injection chamber, here it is. It requires 4 of these as well as 2 of these. Both of these require 4 of the reinforced alloys in total, and it requires, to make that, I need to use a metallurgic infuser with compressed diamonds to get in the reinforced alloys. So 1 compressed diamond gives 10 operations, so that means I'll be able to use only one of them, but that's only a single machine, and eventually we're going to want to use a lot of machines because, well, that's kind of how we're going to have to roll with this. Now, I'm thinking that we're going to have our energy banks here, and there'll be a maximum of 2 thickness. I don't think we're going to go too far with that. And we'll go somewhat like this. Eventually, we'll pretty everything up in a bit better of a way. So, maximum 2. Then it'll be space. Then we'll probably have the machine start going this direction. It's not going to be centered, but whatever. Not everything is going to be centered in this build. And I'm thinking that we're going to eventually want to move our workshop over here. So let's see what type of machines we can move over from our workshop. Always a good idea to make sure that you are not muted, because being muted would require another voiceover, and doing voiceovers, you know, it's actually more difficult to do a voiceover of something that you already did because you keep on trying to want to repeat commentary. Anyway, so chemical infuser. It looks like I'm gonna need to make my own chemical infusers again. Sorry, metallurgic infusers to be able to make everything. Yeah, that's probably in our best interest. We're also probably going to want a dedicated machine to make the enriched alloy eventually anyways, so we might as well have that set up. So let's see. We're going to need 1 enrichment chamber. Do we have an enrichment chamber in here? We have a crusher, but we also have some steel casings, so that puts us a bit ahead of the game already. So we got some steel casings. We'll need to make the metallurgic infusers. I think I have the materials ready. Metallurgic infusers. Let's see. Just some osmium and ferni. Huh. And the ferni, all it really takes is a bit of cobblestone, and I got a buttload of cobblestone, thankfully. And you do not want to know where that buttload goes, because even I do not know. And that is a horrible joke. Let's make 4 of them, might as well. And we'll set them up in our base. So I think we need to make this as streamlined as possible. We're going to have all that there. So I'm thinking we'll have our metallurgic infusers working overtime. Actually, yeah, let's have our server stuff here. We can cordon off this section of the wall so that this is the data center. We don't really need to go into here otherwise. So we can... Wow, I'm dying. Be right back. This just in, kids. Dying is bad for your health. Tell your friends. Okay, so... Actually, we already have an energy line over there, so we don't need this here. And thankfully, I can just collect that easily enough. So, energy line over here. I'm thinking we'll go and add the metallurgic infusers to this area. In fact, that might make it easier so that we can get that out of the way. Ha. And ha! There we go. And 1, 2, 3, 4, and we can probably set hoppers up here later, but I'm thinking that this is good for now. But what we also want to do we actually have any conduits left over? I think I have 1 ender pearl. Yeah, 1 ender pearl is all I have, so if I need to make some more of those conduits, it's going to be a bit more difficult than it was originally. Let me find my conduits and or make them, then I'll be back, since I feel like conduits in this sort of situation is going to be a necessary necessity for simplistic actuation. I don't know, something like that. I make this stuff up as I go along and do a horrible job while I'm at it. So I have a feeling we're going to need quite a few enrichment chambers to make all of the enriching, at least at this base, so making a few of them right now is probably a good call. So let's see. There we go. That means we need this and a bit of iron. And that's 1 enrichment chamber. We're probably going to need a few more of them while we're working, but that's something we can work on afterwards, so I'm not too worried about it. So I'm thinking dedicated machines here, and what we can probably do is orient these later. In fact, we can get this stuff out of the way since we are still working on it. There we go. In fact, why is this dog-legged over this direction? It seems a little odd that it would be dog-legged. Yeah, let's move this, since having that stuff there is kind of useless considering that we also have to eventually have it going this way. So just that is good enough. And this stuff eventually will probably set it so that we can feed stuff in automatically with applied energistics. However, that's definitely, wow, this stuff is kind of... I'm interested... Well, I'm gonna make an armor room anyway, so I might as well do that later. So, chemical and... I need to enrich one of these, I know that, so that I can make the diamond. Then I'll plug that in here so that I can enrich this. I'm currently making a bunch of basic control circuits. There we go. And we'll enrich a few of these. So I want to throw this in here. And we need 10 of them of these in here. That should make all we need for the chemical thingamabobber. Chemical injection chamber. We need the gold, and we also need purification chambers, as well as a bunch of advanced circuits, so that's a good thing we were making that already. And this is going to be good for making a few more things. Now, I do have a bunch of iron ore, so I can go back and make this stuff. In fact, we are probably going to make this stuff. That is a very technical jargon that you have been using for the past little while there, Way. You are a master of mystery, mischief, and whatever. Let me make a few signs so that I can make a list of all that we need for stuff. That shouldn't be too bad. So I'll be right back once we have a good understanding of what we need in total, because that might be necessary. So we need a few things. We need a chemical injection chamber, a chemical infuser, 2 electrolytic separators, and brine production. The brine production is something that will work off in the end. So I'm thinking we'll start finishing up everything else. So we got some more enriched alloy. That's good. We got those reinforced alloy cores, reinforced alloys, enriched alloys. Okay, so let's make the chemical infuser. That stuff should pretty much be ready for... Let's see. Chemical infuser. We're going to need to start with purification, which needs this, so one of these. Let's throw that in. Throw that in. Bah. So we got enrichment chamber. Then we need enrichment chamber for the purification chamber, which needs the advanced circuits, which needs a few of these. I think we need 4 of these in total, since we need to further use them for crafting later, and we might as well throw those in. We already have the redstone, so we don't need to worry. Create... What am I missing here? I need osmium for that, and I also need the one machine that I made. That's a purification chamber. Then we need to get all of this in here. In fact, I need to use these 2. This, not that. I need to use these expensive buggers and make 1, 2 elite circuits. Need to use these, and then I believe it's gold, as well as our machine to make the chemical injection chamber. And that is good. So chemical injection chamber, I'm thinking we'll have a major production line, so we're going to want to work out everything later. So I'm thinking I'll have this here, and this will be our entry point. So all of the ores that we want, we'll eventually put it in on the top of that, and we should be good. So what is this generating? 60 RF a tick. That's good. Okay, that's much better than I thought it'd be doing, because dang, it would have been horrible if it was less. And it's producing it at a very fast rate, so I am good with that. So the next thing we're going to need to do... In fact, I'm going to move this in slightly. It's not going to be in its final position, obviously, because we're going to need to do a few things. I'm thinking we need to basically, well, make the chemical infuser. What does the infuser require? The chemical infuser requires not much. Actually, I do not have a cobblestone in my AE system, so I'm going to need to grab that. It's kind of strange not having cobblestone of all resources be in my applied energistic system. Probably could go for a dedicated disk and have some sort of system, though that's not really necessary at this stage. Okay, synchronization. What did you do? Chemical here, and we're going to need 2 tanks, which requires powder. Great. Okay, producing another stack and a half of iron so that we don't run out in the middle of all this crafting. Might as well, because, you know, running out of stuff kind of goes on to the sucky end of things. Okay, dynamic tanks, we're probably going to need a lot of them. We'll also need, let's just throw 4 of those in. I have a feeling eventually I'll need some more of those. And we have a chemical infuser, however, we don't really have anything, actually, pressurized. I think we should get a few of these as well. I think maybe 32 of them, because eventually we are going to need to use some of that. And let's see. We need to have a chemical infuser, and this is basically going to have our chemicals go in. And now that I think of it, we can probably have them go in the back, because this is the only machine that is going to need the chemical that we need. At least I believe so. So if we have the back dedicated to the chemicals, we can still have the front free and basically have a line of machines, assuming that we don't have any sort of piping at the bottom. However, that's kind of moot at this moment, because we're going to need an electrolytic separator. Electrolytic separator, I believe we need 2 of them. And that's actually going to need more crushed stuff, which is somewhat annoying that it requires crushed materials, but no matter. I suppose I can just like grind up a bunch of iron, a bunch of gold. However, grinding up a bunch of gold doesn't seem like it's a safe thing to do. However, at least it's something I can do. So grind up some osmium, grind up some gold, grind up some iron that's still being processed. And I guess we'll pay. It is not my time yet. What did they say to death? Very obvious meme. Okay. That is funny. An Orialcum studded cosmic neutronium staff with a capacity of 9,002. The one variant is 9,001. That is funny. Wow, I can't believe I never really noticed that. Then again, I don't really use staffs while I'm in creative mode. It's usually scepters. Anyway, so throw a bunch of junk into here eventually, and we're going to want to make our infusers, or yeah, electrolytic separators. We're going to need to make 2 of them in total. So let's make, apparently that's going to have to wait. How many of those thingies do we have in here? Not enough, apparently. 10 of those in here. I might as well infuse. That is... you'd think I'd be used to having an air sigil always in my hotbar, but no, you have to go fling yourself into a random direction while you're trying to go and click on a machine. Not very productive way, not very productive at all, and this is going to require even more enriched alloy, so I suppose I can just settle on one. Nah, I might as well make all of them. Might as well make all of them. So what's that? A few more? About time. Okay, electrolytic separators, probably gonna have to write it again. Yes. I do indeed. One more of you. Actually put you in the belay inventory, thank you very much. And then I'll have 2 of you. And what am I missing this time? Thought I had a core. Wow. Why was that not in there? It was a core no more. No more a core. So the best... Well, I'm going to need to use this for both oxygen as well as hydrogen. So I'm thinking I'm going to need to eventually make some sort of storage method. However, not really necessary at this stage of the game. I'm thinking I'll put the separators in this corner. So we're going to need two of them, and we're going to basically need to chain them together. So we'll have hydrogen and oxygen. We need to send the hydrogen over here, right? So two in there, like one in there, one in there. It'll come out this direction. So I think what we'll do instead is have it kind of go here. We'll have it powered in here. This stuff is definitely going to need to be moved around. I can figure that out already. So that's going to need our hydrogen. Hydrogen's going to be one of them. And I think the hydrogen comes out this way. I'm not entirely sure. Let's see. Hydrogen. Yes, hydrogen comes out this end. F7. Some stuff over here. So we'll get all of our hydrogen in this direction. Obviously, I'm going to need to move that pipe. And it's probably best if I actually have this backed up a step. Ah, come on! Faster! Stone bricks break faster than you, mere mortal. Mere mortal. I don't think these machines are mortal nor immortal, so I think I am a bit crazy. Okay, so got that. Got those bricks. Probably should go for magnetism sigil. Too much stuff. Then we'll have water supply needs to be in here, as well as a power supply. So I'm thinking the power supply will come from this direction as well. We already got the line pretty much ready, willing, and I'm not sure if it's able. We'll find out soon enough. Then we'll have our water supply. I think... Okay, we are getting energy here, so we can probably just put the water supply here. Temporarily, we'll connect it to the same supply, because I don't feel like quite yet making a dedicated one, though that will come soon enough. So this, I think we can put it on the top. Then we'll just hook it up there and hook this up over here. Now I'm thinking we might want to have, okay, that's the hydrogen going in there. Good. Yes, it is hydrogen. Okay, so we got the hydrogen going into one of the tanks. That's good. Eventually, maybe we can have some floor creating all the chemicals, but for now, I'm content at having all the chemicals made on the same floor. You know, just a system making everything. Then we're going to need to... Didn't even think that was possible. Then we're going to need to get the other chemical in here. I believe it's sodium. Hydrogen and sodium, I think, is what we need. We need chlorine. Yes, obviously. Which is made with brine. And then I think the sodium is going to be in excess. So that was a waste. So let's break that. Get that. Does it have anything in it? No good. No good. And then, okay, that is filling up. I like how they actually have it fill up. Not too many mods do that, but yeah, that's beside the point. Now, how are we going to get the chemical to go in here? That's a problem. We're probably going to need to have it... Now, I'm pretty sure that once it has a chemical, it's not going to connect to another thing. So it should be easy enough to temporarily disable stuff once we get that other stuff working. So we'll probably just have a pressurized tube going up for when we actually make the brine. Now, brine needs a very hot environment, and it needs a lot of water in order to be made. Now, I think I know how to make it. It needs a salination plant. Do we have all the other materials ready? Yeah, we need the electrolytic separator. So let's place the electrolytic separator as if we have the brine. So we'll have it here, I think. Yeah, we'll have it here. This will be the brine production. Obviously, we're going to just dump, because we're not going to want this. And I think we need to find a way to dump the water as well. Unless we're probably actually going to have to keep it pumping, aren't we? That's a bit of an annoyance. Unless, Huh? Of course not. I bet there's no way to dump it. If we pickaxe it, it's not going to be dumped either. So that's a bit of an annoyance. Oh well. So whatever, we'll assume that it's good. So I am pretty sure that the sodium... Okay, chlorine, sodium. The sodium's going to go on this side, so we're going to want to dump that. So I'm thinking instead what we'll do is we'll rotate it so that it's like that. We'll have our stuff that we want go out this way. And we're going to want to make sure the rest of it dumps, because frankly I don't want this. Dump. Dump. I think there's nothing in here, so we're good. And we'll put it up here and bring it like this. I like actually having a series of pipes going everywhere, because it looks like a nice base once everything like that is situated. Ah, fudge. Oh, we can clear it. That's good. And we can just dump this stuff. None. None. Okay, good. Wow, laggy. Laggy. Now, I might be wrong on this, but brine is basically the production of... Well, it uses water and kind of like a dirty type water. It kind of takes in dirty, unpurified water, creates brine out of it. Anyways, I'm not entirely sure about the actual mechanics of real-world brine production. However, what I do know is that the hotter the area, the faster the production brine that you actually get, but you need a nice big structure to be able to create it. Now, it is size variable, user-controlled size, and it's kind of an expensive piece of equipment. It requires a buttload of copper, like a big buttload of copper to make, and it does require some other things like 4 advanced solar panels. Now, I don't think I have all the materials that are required for the advanced solar panels. I think I'm going to set up all the other materials that I need for the brine beforehand, at least so that I can see that, hey, I'm not going to bankrupt myself when I'm attempting to make this substance. Now, another thing is this, that you're probably realizing already, the fact that I'm over here. That place isn't very hot, though it's very hot over here, so I can produce the brine over here, then ship it over here. The problem is that I'm going to have to ship it over here, and without some sort of teleportation method, I'm going to basically have a pipe that goes way over here. And I'm thinking I'm probably going to have it hide in one of these posts. That's probably what I'm going to do in the meantime. But what I think I eventually want to do is something akin to... Ooh, that's actually something that I'm going to need, isn't it? Well, this oxygen actually is another component that I will need in my 4x ore processing, because oxygen is one of the components for ore. Well, we used oxygen before. We're going to need to use oxygen again. Let's just say that. And I have a bunch of sand that is going to be useless to me anyway, so let's dump that off. Now, from the looks of it, at least a good stack of enriched alloy is going to be needed to be made. So I think I'll I'm going to put half of stack in here, half stack in here. We'll want to automate that eventually, though I am happy with what it is right now. So salination is going to be a bit annoying. We need a control valve. Do we have copper? We obviously do. Let's make a few copper blocks, since I'm pretty sure we'll need that. We need glass panes. And we're also going to need a few of these. So I'm thinking we'll make 4 of these. And do we have any glass here? Obviously we do, because what type of a base would we be if we didn't have that? So this takes a lot of stuff. So let's make this. It's basically the control circuit of the entire structure. We'll also make a salination control valve. We need 4 of these. I think 3 for inputting and 1 for outputting. So we're going to need a bunch of stuff. So steel casings, we'll probably need to make a few more of them just in case. Valves, we need 2 of them for each. So there we go. I Thank goodness I made a lot of steel ahead of time. Then we got our 4 things there. Now we need the salination block, which requires dynamic tanks. I think I'll make a few more of those. And we need a lot of them. Actually, we're going to need a lot more of those. So, like I was saying, it's going to be... the smallest is 3 layers. The first layer is going to be the salination control block. And it's going to also include... let's see. When it has corners, it's basically a ring that is 4 by 4, so not counting the center blocks, that's a total of 12 blocks. We take out the 4 advanced solar panels that we're going to need. That leaves us 8. Then we have the control block on the upper ring, so we need 7 of those thingamabobbers. And we're also going to probably need to process a bunch of that ore. So, salination, we're going to need at least 7 of these. And this is for the upper ring. Then we're going to need 12 for the next ring. And then we'll need a further 16 of these blocks. And that is for the final ring. Now, it seems that we are out of copper. So, would this be enough for... No, it wouldn't. At least we'll have the copper in our inventory. Now, how much copper do we have remaining at our base? Might as well do that. I know I need to have 10. Ooh, that is quite a bit of copper, so that is good. That's pretty much all that we need. We'll just throw this in here, pick up our copper, and then go back and finish crafting. We just need 10 more, I do believe. So, and we do have all the dynamic tanks that we do need. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ooh, we didn't take into account that we had valves, so we do have more than we actually need. So let's make the base structure to start off with. Let's have a few of these, at least to light up the area a bit, even though it's not strictly necessary, especially when we get the structure down. We're going to go for a big size eventually, but I just want to have the layout. We're going to basically expand downwards, so having this stuff here is not too much of a bother. Hey! Did I say that you could shoot me in my face? No, I did not, good sir. I did not. Ugh. So annoying, skeletons. Spooky, scary, you are not. You're not sending shivers down this spine, I'll tell you that. Okay, so we'll have this as the back end, so we'll have this stuff go out that way. We'll have water input, I suppose, there and this end, but it's not strictly necessary at this point. So here, now we'll put the remainder, so 1 here, and then we need our control block, which is going to end up here. So if we right click here, if we press this, we can see that it's incomplete, which unfortunately is not a good thing. We got the size, we're just going to need the solar panels. Now the solar panels, it's going to require a lot of enriched alloy, unfortunately, and that's a lot of enriched alloy just for one of the blighters. So let's set this up and check what we need for 1 solar panel. For 1 solar panel, the advanced kind, it'd be helpful if it was here. Advanced solar panel, solar generators, sorry. We're going to need 16 of these solar panel things, which obviously we don't have. We're going to need basically 64. 64 of these single components right here. Let's just put this, let's make a few of these. I mean, why not? Let's make like 1, 2, maybe 3. That's good. We'll get the recipe of this back here, and we'll see. We only have 23. What are we missing? We're missing osmium. We're missing redstone. We're missing a lot of components. This is going to take a lot of stuff, and it's going to require a bunch of prior work to do. So I'm thinking that this is going to be something that we're going to need to finish in another episode, because we are definitely not close enough to get all that. I think we might have enough redstone, and we do need all 4 enabled to do this. But oh well, so I think I'll need to shove a bunch of osmium ore into this plant. I can at least transfer the remainder of my copper back so we can at least make a bigger salination plant. So I think I missed something, obviously. That is always happy days indeed, indeed. Always happy days, always happy days, always happy days indeed. Osmium ore. Okay, so I'll just throw this in here. That'll give us 3 stacks, probably enough for all the stuff that we need. Who knows? We'll find out. This is probably going to take forever. Well, that's all the time we have for this episode of EEPower. If you like what you see, don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe to future episodes. King Slime! I should probably blow that thing up with TNT. WayofTime here, signing off. Have a wonderful day.